Good day, everybody, and welcome to the Upsilon Chapter Induction Ceremony. I'd like to extend a special welcome to all of our guests and inductees and our chapter leaders. My name is Carol Lisk, and I am a manager of course faculty at Western Governors University, and I'm the president of the chapter. And I'd also like to introduce our other leaders. Deborah Abey is a course instructor. She's our vice president. Tracy Lookingbill is a senior manager at WGU, is our secretary. Vanessa Lee works in our evaluation department, and she is our treasurer. Elsie Chidester serves in the program mentor role, and she is our faculty counselor. We also can't lead this chapter without all of the wonderful advisors that we have, all of our committee chair, and I'd like to share them with you as well. Finance Committee Chair, Phil Tarantino. Governance Committee Chair, Tammy Owen. Induction Planning Committee Co-Chair, Christy Johnson. Leadership Succession Chair, Candace Johnson. Membership Involvement Committee, Patty Rowe. Program Committee Chair, Jonette Benson. Publicity Committee Chair, Melissa McLaren. Scholarship and Research Committee Chair, Vicki Martin. Service Committee Chair, Heidi Johnson Anderson. Strategic Planning Committee Chair, Leanne Farmer. And our Technology Committee Chair is Janine Brandt. An event like this evening can't happen without special people doing an awful lot of great work. And I'd like to especially thank Elsie Chidester and Christy Johnson, our Induction Planning Committee co-chair, who invited you, put all of the information into the Sigma site, and coordinated the eligibility lists. And of course, Janine Barrett, our Technology Committee Chair, who is the moderator of our virtual events. Thank you all. So we are here today to welcome and honor our new chapter inductees who will soon be new members. I just want to tell you a little bit about our chapter. As many of you know, we're a pretty new chapter. We're very young. We were the 546th chapter of Sigma, chartered in July of 2017. At the date of charter, we actually installed 336 new members by Dr. Ken Dion, who is on the board of Sigma. Following the induction, we went to work to build the foundational infrastructure of our chapter, and all of those leaders were appointed or elected at the time of chartering or shortly thereafter to build the chapter that we have today. Currently, with this new induction, we have over 1,100 members and 11 fully functioning committees, and our membership spans all 50 states. So what are we doing today? We are a part of something big, Sigma. The Greek letters Sigma, Theta, Tau, which stand for love, courage, and honor. These are the foundational pillars of the organization that was founded over almost 100 years ago. When they established our organization, they identified the Sigma Theta Tau crest. When you look at the crest, you see an eye that represents wisdom and discernment. Service, professional endeavor, strength of leadership are represented in the pillars of stone, and knowledge is represented by the lamp. We also have a pin that many of us wear, and the pin is called the key, And a new pin that has joined in companion is the Laurel that was part of the new branding of Sigma in this last year. The Laurel represents excellence of Sigma nurses. You'll notice in the actual logo that there's a subtle break of the end of the leaves into three parts. And those three parts represent what is embedded in our mission: scholarship, leadership, and service. The key, or the membership pins, have black letters, the black Greek letters that represent our charge. The cup denotes the satisfaction of our professional life. The circle with its 6 stars represent our 6 founders. And the lamp, again, is the lamp of knowledge. So, to be what we are today, we stand on the shoulders of those who went before us. Sigma's past was started by 6 nursing students at what is now Indiana University. And currently, we have more than 130,000 members in over 500 chapters. And as I mentioned earlier, we are number 546. So from founding in 1922, we now reside in more than 90 countries around the world. The mission and vision of our organization is what really drives our success. Our mission is to advance world health and celebrate nursing excellence in scholarship, leadership, and service. And our vision is to be the global organization of choice. So what does that mean? Well, that means that in order to advance scholarship and leadership and service, we need to provide and do provide to all of our members a lifelong resource of information. As a Sigma member, you not only gain access to many resources listed on the Sigma site, but in particular, we have numerous career advisors. You can receive up to $350 in free continuing nursing education hours. You can use virtual face-to-face networking. And you also have access to a myriad of resources. Members receive our journals, the Journal of Nursing Scholarship and Leadership, Reflections on Nursing Practice. And all people, all nurses, and actually anybody can go to the website and use the Virginia Henderson e-repository and access not only published works, but gray papers and white papers and best practices and theses and doctoral dissertations on the Virginia Henderson e-repository. We also have the Circle, and the Circle would be considered the Sigma's Facebook. It's our site to be able to converse with each other, connect with somebody, another nurse around the world, and to carry on scholarly and sometimes just plain fun discussions. We also have a great marketplace where you can purchase Sigma items. The jewelry is exceptional. I have to stay away from their booths when we go to the Sigma events. But the marketplace also hosts a myriad of wonderful books, and many of the textbooks, several of them are textbooks here at WGU, and in fact, we've had several of the textbook authors as our chapter program presenters. But what do we do in terms of the world? Well, we can say we're the global organization of choice and that we care about health and people health worldwide, but we truly are walking the talk. Several years back, Sigma became a member of the United Nations. Initially, we were considered what they would consider the initial entry-level member, where we can sit in on activities, listen to certain meetings that are going on. But shortly after we were the initial members, they recognized our contribution to the discussions of the Sustainable Development Goals. And Sigma was then elevated to what they refer to as ECOSOC status, economic and social status. In other words, we have a seat at the table. And that's very consistent with what we've been hearing from our VP of Academics, Jan Jones-Shake, where we as nurses need to have a seat at the table. We want to be involved in boards and committees that are making decisions and policies about the health of the world people. Another thing that Sigma has done that's just been exceptional is the Global Advisory Panel on the Future of Nursing and Midwifery. Over a period of several years, the last biennium, they conducted individual regional meetings around the world where they sat at the table with world leaders, not just in nursing, to talk about gaps in health. And they have since developed a beautiful document that lists 96 recommendations, worldwide recommendations, some specific to each region. And they're challenging other nursing organizations, ourselves and our members, to identify how we can contribute to supporting those and hopefully resolving some of the issues that we find. So as a member of Sigma, you're in distinguished company. Over 35% of our members have master's degrees or doctorates. Over 50%, and actually that number now is closer to 65%, work in a hospital or multi-hospital setting. And about 20% are working in schools of nursing. So you can see that being a member of Sigma is exceptionally relevant to your clinical practice for those of you that are actively still in the healthcare setting. So you are part of a global community of nurses. And it's just fascinating when you have an opportunity to attend the Sigma events, the men and women from around the globe that we encounter that are experiencing some of the same challenges, often far more challenging efforts to be successful, effective nurses who have a seat at the table. So how do we strategize everything that I just talked about? Well, in fact, we have a very significantly well-organized structure at Sigma. There's a board of directors that are elected every 2 years with international representation. And every 2 years, we elect a new president is installed into office. They serve in the president-elect role for 2 years and then are installed at the beginning of the biennium. Sigma works in 2 years compartments of time. And during that 2 year, everything that we do not only supports the mission and vision of Sigma, but also the presidential call to action. This biennium, Beth Baldwin Tigges is our current president. She is a professor at the University of New Mexico. Her background is in pediatrics and pediatric critical care, and she has been very involved in Sigma for almost since she was in her master's program, well over 20 years. As our new Sigma president, her call to action was connect, collaborate, and catalyze. To connect, Sigma's vision is to be the global organization of choice for nurses. And in order to connect, we need to connect with fellow nurses and partners and share our message through technology. We at WGU have learned that we wouldn't have a chapter if it weren't for technology, that digital engagement is crucial. Collaborate refers to our Sigma mission. In order to advance the world health and celebrate nursing excellence, we have to intentionally collaborate with nurses around the world. We need to foster creativity and innovation and essentially function as nurses without borders. But ultimately, we can connect and we can catalyze and we can collaborate, but we have to catalyze. We have to make things happen. So to ensure global nursing excellence, we need to engage new nurses and expert nurses in all roles. We need to be mentors and career coaches. We need to engage in discussion on the circle. We have to be a catalyst for transformation and produce fundamental transformational change as visionary leaders. And remember, leadership isn't a title. Leadership is who we are as a nurse, who we are as a nurse in our workplace, and who we are as a nurse in our community. So again, as we reflect on Beth Tigges's call to action, now is the time to build on our extraordinary success as nurses. So today we are welcoming hundreds of new nurses and nursing students to our chapter. It is truly my pleasure now to introduce our inductees who are in attendance and those who are being inducted in absentia. From Arkansas, Amy Clark. From California, Jessica Ann Brewart, Gilda Cruz Manglapus, Whitney Masses, Kenzia Samartia Mason, Anna Gabriela Medina, Lindsay Varner, Janine Jarrett Williams, and Candria Williams. From Colorado, Penny Michelle Jefferson. From Florida, Claudine Bernier, Laura Maria Daly, Tamara Hunt, Carrie Ann Lawyer, Yadian Maxwell, Annie Laura Smith, and Kimberly Ann Sturm. From Georgia, Casey Lee Carson, Olivia Fallis Merrick, Ginger Powell. From Idaho, Rachel Marima and Valerie Nicasio. And from my home state of Illinois, Lindsay Jocelyn McDonald. From Indiana, Ashley Ann Chambers, Jennifer Ann Davis, Ashley Kuiper, Cheryl Lynn Lloyd, Jessica Renee Pomfret, Jeanette Rains. From Iowa, Laura Noah. From Kentucky, Melinda Beading, Diane Fossen, and Angelia Ann Pentecost. From Maryland, Yolanda Smith, Adrienne Alexandra Whalen. From Massachusetts, Kimberly Ola Marie Mendibe. From Michigan, Bonnie Marie Platt. From Mississippi, Rachel Dix. From Missouri, Kimberly Burks, Christy Marie Burks, and Ebony Marie Carter. From Montana, Angel Romero. From New Jersey, Christina Hogston. From New York, Patricia Davidson and Nancy Palmer. From North Carolina, Melissa Rice Aguiar, Michelle Ann Clements. From Oklahoma, Deborah Maria Koppel. From Pennsylvania, Rebecca DeVito, Jennifer Lynn Anderko, and Tamara Suzanne Yaki. From South Carolina, Davidia Williams. From Texas, Jennifer Dancel Gabrielle, Elizabeth Henke, Eric Fernanza Pazuzian, Tracy Farrar Rios, and from Utah, Shannon Estrada, Deanne Pranke, and Amber Spillett. From Vermont, Melissa Cameron Stewart, Washington, Andrea Brady, Amy Corrin, Kim Leon Peterson, and Hannah Reinert. And finally from Wisconsin, Ashley Hurst. So we welcome these inductees present in this ceremony today, and thank you so much for joining our chapter. But that's not all. We have hundreds of students and nurse leaders who have joined our chapter and are being inducted in absentia. I'm going to take a moment and slowly scroll through the slides so you can see the names of those who have also joined our chapter. All of these individuals come from every state in the Union. On behalf of the chapter leaders, I thank you so much for accepting membership in Psi Upsilon. I also would like to recognize members who have transferred their membership to Psi Upsilon or added Psi Upsilon as a multi-chapter member. New transfer members include Shannon Carpenter from Virginia, Karen Molander from Washington, Carrie Jo Morris from Pennsylvania, and Marianne Rebecca Walker from California. Multi-chapter members include Lynette Alexandra Chavez from California, Teresa Kaiser from Louisiana, Melissa Lighty and Marisa Nicole Matarazzo from California, Janika Lynette Morgan from North Carolina, Melody Parsons from South Dakota, Michelle Catherine Reagan from Illinois, Laura Owen Simmons from Tennessee, and Ashley Trust from Illinois. So at this time, I will recite the pledge, and I would ask you to repeat after me, those of you that are being inducted. I accept membership
I accept membership
in Sigma Theta Tau International,
in Sigma Theta Tau International,
and I pledge to fulfill its commitment
and I pledge to fulfill its commitment
to nursing excellence,
to nursing excellence,
knowledge,
knowledge,
service, and leadership
service, and leadership
throughout my career.
throughout my career.
Congratulations to our new members. It's because of you our chapter will make a difference. Thank you. We also want to take a moment to thank those people that allowed our students and our faculty and our nurse leaders to be successful in your nursing careers. So let's take a moment to reflect and thank our colleagues, our friends and families who have contributed to your academic success and your professional success. So many thanks to all of them, some of whom are attending today. Thank you all so very much. We couldn't do it without you. Now we have a very special presentation. Our keynote speaker today is Tracy Lookingbill. Tracy joined WGU in February 2012 as a program mentor. Throughout her time with WGU, she continued into different student support roles because student support is her passion. Tracy has supported students in a course instructor role in undergrad nursing, as well as a program manager role. Today, she supports our interprofessional leadership and communication course as senior manager. She began her nursing career as an LPN and truly reflects the principles of lifelong learning. She moved from her LPN position and currently holds an MSN degree in nursing leadership. She is also in a DNP program working towards her DNP in organizational leadership. Tracy's worked in emergency nursing, labor and delivery, healthcare administration, and education. She believes in creating empowering opportunities to help hardworking adults meet their educational goals and improve the lives of themselves and their families. And I can't think of a more appropriate speaker for us this evening. So without further ado, Tracy Lookingbill.
Thank you, President List and the Psi Upsilon chapter for providing the opportunity for me to present during our fall induction. Serving on our board in the role of secretary has allowed me to have a greater appreciation for supporting the future of nursing and, most importantly, reconfirming my commitment to the nursing profession. My career in nursing has provided many opportunities to grow professionally, from the clinical bedside and eventually into higher education. When I supported patients in the clinical setting, as well as the educational setting, I grew tremendously. When I started my career in nursing, I was primarily focused on learning how to function as a clinical nurse, specifically in the emergency department. There were many first experiences as a novice nurse in that specialty area. I remember the first time I started an IV or held the hand of someone near the end of life. Those feelings of apprehension and uncertainty stayed with me. Those uncomfortable feelings have faded through time. However, when I concentrate for a moment, I can easily go back to what I felt during those uncertain times. My role as faculty in higher education has also provided many opportunities for first-time experiences. I can recall the first time I mentored a student when assessing lung sounds or a head-to-toe assessment. You can almost feel the light bulb moments students have when they connect theory to clinical. As an educator, those moments are the best ones that we ever hope for. Nurses are well prepared in theory when we enter practice. Over time, we continue to grow and develop stronger skill sets. I feel there's an aspect of nursing curriculum that can sometimes be overlooked, regardless of your academic journey or clinical practice. We learn about holistic care of patients and families. However, do we create spaces to focus on holistic care of ourselves? I cannot recall a lecture, a textbook paragraph, an NCLEX question around the idea of nurses preserving your own well-being. Resilience, grit, and perseverance was not a focus of my foundational or advanced studies in nursing and theory. As we move into the next slide, I want to share with you an image of a special place I traveled to. You may recognize the image. This is Cadillac Mountain in Acadia National Park, located in Bar Harbor, Maine. This is an area known for the highest point along the North Atlantic seaboard and the first place to view a sunrise from October through the month of March. A few summers ago, I traveled to Maine with my husband and 6 children. The kids were excited to explore the New England states, so we voyaged on a 14-hour drive north. On the way to Bar Harbor, I planned to work from the car and use a hotspot to connect to technology. My hope was to remain caught up on email responses and projects I've been working on. Although I officially took a vacation and time away from my work, and my boss fully supported this, I did not feel as though I could disconnect. My plan worked out well. I was working more remotely than I normally do until I saw the big, great state sign that said, "Welcome to Maine." I immediately lost connection to technology, as if it's something bigger than me just completely shut down the technology. Unsettled feelings began to surface. I was not in a good place. In my mind, this was a disaster. At this point, we were a few hours from our rental home. At this point, I was under the belief that we were going to have internet connection in this rental property. When we finally arrived at our destination, the home was beautiful. It was located on an isolated island called South Bristol. It was a beautiful property built in the mid 1800s, fully sustainable with vegetation during the summer months, chicken coop in the back, fully sustainable with eggs and different types of fruits and vegetables, even a flower garden. And it directly overlooked the waterfront. You could see boats leaving in the morning with the tide and returning at the end of the day full of lobster traps. All seemed perfect until I opened my laptop and the Wi-Fi connection I believed to be existed still was not available. I immediately thought to myself, what am I going to do this week? Again, the unsettled feelings built up and I could only focus on work at that time. The next morning, as I was still attempting to find a Wi-Fi connection, the kids convinced me to drive to Cadillac Mountain. I thought, well, let's give this family vacation a try. I was not going to be able to have a working vacation. The roadway to the mountain area was beautiful and winding, and I started to settle down. I started to relax a bit. The views were impressive. Lobster pounds were along the highway, and the harbors were within easy view as you drove along the road. Road signs alerting drivers to the potential moose in the area was also visible. I finally gave into the family vacation experience, and I started to relax again. We stopped to take pictures along the way. We made some amazing memories with lighthouse pictures and trying our first lobster rolls. Driving to the top of Cadillac Mountain was breathtaking. We finally made it to the top, and I was so excited to see a more extended view. As we parked the car and planned to take some pictures, I couldn't believe it. The moment we neared the edge of the mountain to take pictures, clouds had moved into the area, and we did not get to see the view that we had hoped to see. It was unbelievable how within minutes, the view was lost with no warning. The park ranger smiled and nodded. You could tell he had worked there for many years, and he kind of chuckled and said, "Yeah, this usually happens once a day." I think he sensed my frustration of a sudden cloud fog out. As we carefully drove back down the mountain, navigating the foggy weather, I felt unsettled. I felt unsettled personally and professionally. Really, a cloud upset me, something I had no control over. I mostly felt an unfulfilled purpose. I reflected on how I showed up with my family and what example I was setting for my colleagues by not focusing on my own well-being. In my personal and professional life, I had not yet understood the importance of bouncing back from frustrations. I couldn't say what exactly sparked these thoughts. However, by the time we approached the base of the mountain, the fog had lifted, the skies were blue again, and I had a renewed perspective of what was most important to me. Over the next few months, I began to discover more about managing my energy through exercise and nutrition, as well as focusing on my awareness of my own feelings. I shifted my thinking towards noticing new possibilities and fresh perspectives as opposed to the negative. I let go and release situations outside my control. I found practicing gratitude by giving back in different ways renewed a deep sense of happiness. I focused on deeper connections with my family and loved ones. My academic brain also kicked in, and I went into high drive, and I took an in-depth look into current literature focused on improving your own well-being. Not only did my physical appearance change rapidly, my mental health and well-being surged for the better. Something remarkable had happened by shifting my focus. I felt my own fog had been lifted. My journey is unique, and I enjoy sharing how I was able to develop a more holistic approach to life. I'm not naive, and I know the fog will re-enter my life personally and professionally. And I'm sometimes asked how I changed my appearance, my physical appearance, and my outlook on life. And I usually respond by saying I went on a drive to a mountaintop. Being a leader means at times your vulnerability is transparent. A colleague very recently, as of today, challenged my thinking and offered some insights around vulnerability. They reminded me showing this side of myself allows others to see you're authentic. If you are just entering nursing or leading a nursing workforce, I encourage you to think about how you support yourself or the well-being of other nurses. Our nurses need to be healthy in mind, body, and spirit as they care for others. Think about role modeling and what this could look like for you. As I mentioned at the start of my discussion, I am honored to have this connection with each of you at this very moment in time, especially during our fall induction. The autumn season for me is a very special time of the year. The season is a gentle reminder from nature to live vibrant in color, and a new season is close behind. As you move forward in the nursing profession, remember to take time to care for yourself and reflect on what is most important to you. Recognize what nurse burnout may have felt like for you and share those stories with those you mentor and support. Don't be afraid to share those vulnerabilities. Share with them, did you stay in a situation and persevere, or did you run and rebuild? As you recall, Sigma's mission and vision is to support nurses' efforts to improve the health of the world's people. Give yourself the gift by starting with yourself, as well as the nurses you support. Let's begin discussions for how to build resilience in challenging times. I would love to continue this topic and hear from each of you on Sigma Circle. I will be posting a follow-up at the close of our discussion. Please share your stories of how you navigated challenges using resilience or ways you focus on well-being. Your thoughts and ideas are so very important to the momentum behind creating healthier nurse workforces. Thank you again to our chapter for allowing me this opportunity. Most importantly, congratulations to our new chapter inductees this evening. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you, President Lisk.
Thank you, Tracy. That was an excellent presentation. And as you mentioned about the inductees, before I share my appreciation to you, I have an apology to make. And as you know, when we work with technology, sometimes little things happen. So because of that, I have somebody else to add who's in attendance with her family and is being inducted. Shayanika Bolden from Texas. So Shayanika, please accept my humble apologies, but because of this, you've got special recognition and congratulations on your induction into our chapter. I will correct this PowerPoint and make sure that you have the corrected copy that lists your name. Thank you so much for your understanding. In addition to appreciating kindness and forgiveness in our technological world, I also wanted to mention to Tracy and several members of her team that we have a special recognition. We have provided an award to the C820 Interprofessional Leadership and Communication Team called the Friends of Nursing Award. This award is bestowed to an organization or to a person who ordinarily would not qualify for membership in Sigma because they may not be a nurse, they may be an organization and not a person. So it is my delightful pleasure on behalf of Tracy's wonderful keynote presentation that Psi Upsilon is awarding the Friends of Nursing to C820 Cameron Cross and his team for their remarkable work that they are doing for our nursing program here at WGU. So at the academic meetings in Indianapolis, Cameron, if you and your team will stop by our table, we have your individual certificates, and then we will officially recognize your team at our February induction. So congratulations for all the great work that you're doing for us. And then finally, I'd just like to share a few concluding remarks. First of all, um, what good of a president would I be if I didn't try to market things that are happening and encourage you to attend? So now that you are members, and whether you have friends that are members or not, we have some great activities that are happening that allow our chapter to support Sigma's mission and vision. First, during the month of October, we are celebrating Sigma Founders Day, which is actually on October 5th. During the month of October, we are asking each of our members to share with us what you are doing in terms of weeks of service. It doesn't have to be a week long. It could be an hour where you contribute a little time if you go to a local extended care facility, or help distribute food at a food pantry, or make a donation to a food pantry. So please tell us what you're doing around the nation. We also, on our website, have regional coordinators that are offering advice if you're trying to look for something to be a part of. So if you can't think of anything, we have something for you. When our College of Health Professions is going to Indianapolis for our academic meetings the end of the month, WGU Indiana is sponsoring a book drive. So we are collaborating with WGU Indiana, the College of Health Professions, and Upsilon in this book drive. And we have a PayPal account established on our website. And if every one of our members just donated $1, we would have and $2 to donate to the WGU book drive. The books are going to be for children, and they're also going to be providing books in several different languages of the children populations that are most prevalent in the areas of the healthcare facilities. So again, go to your email and look for our notice about the event, or go to our Psi Upsilon website to donate. We'd really appreciate your support, and so would the children. We also can't be a good chapter for you if we don't know what you need. So please respond to and participate in our membership survey. What do you need from us? We've posted it in the announcements. We also have the link posted on our website and have sent it out via social media. So we ask you to please share with us, what do you need from us? What will make this organization relevant in your clinical and academic worlds? We want to make a difference for you. And finally, get involved. Please be involved. Attend our programs. Follow us on social media. Post your photos of what you're doing in your nursing worlds. Go to our chapter website. All of our past programs that include 3 of the past Sigma presidents, 2 of who have authored textbooks that we have here at WGU, have presented programs that have been recorded and on our website, and that would also include Tracy's keynote as part of our induction. Volunteer. It doesn't have to be a long-term commitment. You can volunteer to participate in one event. You can volunteer to serve on a committee. We're looking at developing committees in our states where we have a state school, so that you could be a part of the membership involvement committee from Indiana or Utah or Texas or Florida, Tennessee, Utah. And finally, we want to hear from you. Post your comments, ask questions, ask us what we can, you need. Tell us what you need from us, because we can't be there for you if we don't know what you need. So again, congratulations to all of our inductees, all of our new members. Many thanks to our chapter leaders and committee members. And finally, much appreciation to all of you, all of our 1,102 chapter members. We have made chapter history in our growth and in the extent of our reach in all 50 states in the Union. And I can't leave this without also thanking WGU and WGU's nursing leaders. Jan Jones-Shank, our VP of Nursing Academic Operations, Darren Upham, our VP of the College of Health Professions, Dr. Laura Carver, who was our keynote speaker at the last induction, who's one of our directors. Their support has really driven our success, and we can't be the chapter without the support from our members as well as our university. So again, thank you so very much for joining us. I appreciate your being here. And this now concludes our ceremony.